Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you WarCraft Wednesday. This is going to be game 1 in a series between Rhudan versus Fly here on Ancient Isle 2 to be exact. And let's see what this game will happen and what exactly is going to go down here. Rhudan spawning as the pink NightElf player on the bottom right hand side of the map. Meanwhile, Fly spawning as the blue Orc player on the top left hand side of the map. This is going to be NightElf versus Orc, a matchup that we have all seen countless number of times, as Warcraft 3 is rather old, and we'll see whether or not it will pretty much stick to the same strategy. I'm expecting to see a Blade Master come out from Fly. Meanwhile, we are most likely going to see a Demon Hunter followed by a Beastmaster and perhaps even a Goblin Tinker as the Tri-Hero comes in from the Night Elf army with a lot of Druids of the Talon. That is a very common strategy. It has been fleshed out and tested very often. Meanwhile, back over here, Fly is just building up that barracks now. He is going to have his Altar of Storms in just a moment, and it will in fact be a Blade Master. So Blade Master versus Demon Hunter, I was correct. It does happen about 90% of the time that the games do open up this particular way. Occasionally you'll see a Farseer, but really not too often, as Farseer, Tauren Chieftain, not nearly as powerful and effective as a Wisp now moves across the map in order to do some scouting. Excuse me. So yeah, Wisp now making his way across the map in order to do some scouting. We're going to see a Grunt now being trained up as well. So a Grunt going to be added to this army in addition to the Blade Master. Interestingly enough, there is no shop. So without a Voodoo Lounge, that Blade Master is not going to be able to sell his Scroll of Town Portal. He may just try to hit up the normal shops either here or here to sell his Scroll of Town Portal and pick up a Circlet of Nobility. Very standard play, as Rhudan now going after and fighting against this Ogre Warrior, Ogre Magi camp over here. The Demon Hunter gonna try to come back around, gonna get some easy damage onto the Ogre Magi. Down it goes, and Claws of Attack +6 quickly being picked up as Rhudan now going after that Troll Trapper. It looks like the Ancient of War tanking a lot of damage right now, down to 276 hit points, and if he's not careful, the Blade Master may actually be able to push and get some damage onto this Ancient of War. You can take a look at the Blade Master. Blade Master does not have any experience whatsoever. Meanwhile, the Demon Hunter is just shy of level 2, as it will only need one more kill. Blade Master now looking across the map, you can see that the Ancient of War has regenerated a lot of hit points just by eating trees, and now the Archer is going to try to run away. Blade Master does not have Boots of Speed, so unfortunately not going to really be able to catch up. And now going after that one unit over here, the Archer down to 58 hit points, going to Windwalk his way through. He does move a slightly faster there and does get the critical strike or Windwalk strike off, getting in a first Archer kill. So Blade Master able to take down a very low hit point Archer, and Circlet of Nobility dropped and picked back up in front of a Moonwell. Very interesting strategy, as that is normally rather risky, and now it looks like the Blade Master is going to be going for that Moonwell instead as it's being built. The Demon Hunter sitting at level 1 right now, and it looks like the Moonwell is just going to once again be cancelled again. Are we going to get a mana burn is a question there, as the Blade Master down to 60 hit points attempting to run away. Demon Hunter is slightly or the same speed right now and just trying to chase across the map. We are going to have perhaps a Wisp try to do a little bit of pathing. If Rhudan actually gets this would be absolutely huge, as the Wisp, not going to be able to pass from the far side there. The Wisp now going to try to come back around from the other side. And is it going to be enough, as a Grunt now going to start pathing against Rhudan? Rhudan unable to do anything there, and now the Blade Master is in the back. Very nice, going to use those healing salves, able to heal back up. A very low hit point Blade Master, very happy to be inside his home, being able to heal. You can now see a Grunt now currently just stuck inside the base. Fly going to lose this Grunt to an Ancient of War. You can see that the Moonwell is taking a bit of damage, as Rhudan now buys a Boots of Speed for that Demon Hunter to make sure that no units are able to escape his double glaives as well. You can now see Grunts hiding off over here. It looks as though the Spirit Lodge is now being built in addition to the Bestiary, so double buildings. Most likely it is going to be Raiders and Spirit Walkers, as the Grunt is currently in trouble there, and now in comes the Grunt trying to escape. It looks like the Grunt unable to move away, and now the Grunt actually going to feed a little bit of experience, and there it goes. It does get taken down. It looked like Fly was trying to see if he could bait the Ancient of War to try to get that last hit and deny some experience that way, as we now have Evasion being trained up by that Demon Hunter. Blade Master still sitting at level 2. Looks like he will take down that Ogre Magi. Ring of Protection +2. Not as useful of an item. Most likely will be sold, as we are now going into the Tauren Chieftain. Tauren Chieftain, a very common strategy to try to battle up against all of those Druids of the Talon. Meanwhile, we did get that Beastmaster as well, so it is going to be Demon Hunter and a Beastmaster trying to put a little bit of pressure, perhaps get some damage onto these buildings as they're being built, but it is going to be delayed, as now the Blade Master going to take and be revealed. And now what's going to be happening here, as a Quill Beast now getting in some very easy damage. Demon Hunter is forced to back off. Both sides are re-engaging. The Blade Master down to 145 hit points, and now we are going into Ensnare and Raiders. So Raiders will be coming in. Most likely we will also should be seeing, and besides the Raiders, we should be seeing some Spirit Walkers in order to disenchant all of that Fairy Fire and that Druid of Fairy Fire and that Cyclone, as the Raider Ensnare still being researched here. The Goblin or the Orc Burrow Spear is able to push back out, as we now see a Tauren Chieftain out. Tauren Chieftain does go for Endurance Aura first. So the Endurance Aura on the Tauren Chieftain, allowing the Tauren Chieftain and those grunts to perhaps carry with the rest of the army just a little bit better, as we are now going into Tree of Eternity and double Ancient of Winds. And now the Beastmaster, Blade Master, Tauren Chieftain, and Demon Hunter once again battling it out. 3 Quill Beasts dealing a lot of damage, perhaps going to interrupt the healing. Yes, interrupts the healing a little bit more. Tauren Chieftain down to 290 or 249, as the Tauren Chieftain continues to try to chase. It looks like it is going to be forced to back off, though, as we are now going into another Blade Master and engagement happening once again. It looks as though the Tauren Chieftain being forced to fight back in the back of the field. Blade Master going after that Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter very low on hit points, and there's the Ensnare, and Rhudan may be in a bit of trouble, down to 85 hit points. Another Ensnare may be coming in, and now in comes the Speed Scroll. So the Speed Scroll now being used, and the Raider, all he needs is just one more hit, and it should be enough. Where is that Ensnare? The Ensnare cooldown should be completing up in just a moment. There it is, and now that Demon Hunter is, after getting a mana burn, able to come back in. It looks like the Beastmaster does get teleported away ever so barely, as we now go into Mass Druids of the Talon. The Demon Hunter did not want to resurrect, now using a Moonstone in order to get more Nightfall and perhaps get a little bit more moon juice in those Moonwells. Moonwells now currently up to a little bit more energy there, as we are now going to be doing a bit of creeping. The Demon Hunter still sitting at level 2. He does not have a Scroll of Town portal. He's not going to be able to engage in those next fights nearly as well, as the Tauren Chieftain now needs to get to level 2 and perhaps even level 3 rather quickly. Ancient of War going to be tanking this over here. It looks as though the Null Overseer will get taken down very, very easily. Both sides trying to creep out. Beastmaster doesn't have any experience, as the Tauren Chieftain has some off of this creep camp, and now picking up a replenishment potion, quaffing that in order to get more and more mana, and perhaps being able to do more Windwalk strikes. You can now see in comes the Demon Hunter over here. It was purged, and took a lot of damage there, as the Beastmaster now backing off. You can see that the Troll Berserker is going to end up finding this Ancient of War, and the Raiders and the Grunts are going to be able to take down this Ancient of War rather easily. Down it goes, as we now have the Demon Hunter and Beastmaster. And are we going to have a bit of an engagement? We do see a couple peons over here, and the peons are slow. They are going to get pad. This is really bad news. Fly was hoping to be able to get some Spirit Link, but instead just feeding experience into Fly into Rhudan right now, as Rhudan now sitting at level 1, level 2, getting a little bit more experience. Meanwhile, Tauren Chieftain does have a Book of the Dead. So Book of the Dead there should be able to really help him out with this later pressure. Spirit Link on Book of the Dead units, plenty of units to try to spread that damage around. There are a fair number of Druids of the Talon on the inside of the base. Back over here, you can see the Raiders and Spirit Walkers. They are starting to Spirit Link and going to engage in just a moment. And it looks like it is going to be coming into play. 3 heroes. Goblin Tinker is going to round it out, as now in comes the fight over here. There's a Shockwave. It looks like a Moonwell will get taken down, and now in comes some Cyclones as well. So Beastmaster, both sides battling it out. Down goes the shop there. Pocket Factory now coming in as we now see a quick, shockwave hitting some of these Druids of the Talon. Both sides still fighting out. Down goes the Pocket Factory, and both sides still focusing, and in comes the Skeletal Warriors. Very, very nice. We need to get a Disdetonate from a Wisp. I do not see a Wisp at all, as we now finally see a Wisp making his way in. Is he going to be able to detonate? Yes, detonate. And now both sides are still fighting. There's an ensnare on the Beastmaster and on the Demon Hunter. It looks like the Beastmaster will get taken down, and there is the GG after the Tinker gets taken down as well. So Fly taking game 1 in this series. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Here are the final scores.